.com/festival.
I'm Ben Mankiewicz. Thanks for staying up late watching TCM tonight. We are winding down a lineup of New York dramas all set during the 1970s. As I've talked about all night, New York in the 70s was fertile ground for the new Hollywood era of filmmaking, when writers and directors were beginning to tell bolder, more provocative stories on the big screen. That new Hollywood included the rise of blaxploitation films, a genre that significantly altered the landscape of African-American cinema, providing previously unavailable opportunities in front of and behind the camera. Up next, the genre's signature film. It's from MGM in 1971, directed by Gordon Parks, Shaft. Richard Roundtree leads the cast here. He is John Shaft. If we are to believe Isaac Hayes' Oscar-winning theme song, Shaft is the cat that won't cop out when there's danger all about. Allow me to go on. They say this cat Shaft is a bad mother. I'll shut my mouth. John Shaft is a private detective who is simultaneously entirely singular, but also quite similar to so many memorable private eyes in books and movies and on television. He's tough. He's sexy. The police can be both his friend and his enemy. He plays by his own rules and lives by his own code. It's basically a one-man, totally independent law enforcement agency. Those traits, or some combination of them, could be used to describe Sam Spade, Philip Marlowe, Mike Hammer, or a few years later on television, Jim Rockford. But in case you didn't know, those guys were all white. Shaft is black. They may not seem like a big deal now, but in 1971 it felt huge, it felt game-changing, felt long overdue, and it felt kind of wonderful. Pioneering black filmmaker Gordon Parks completely shook up the archetype by adding the dynamic screen swagger and undeniable cool of Richard Roundtree playing John Shaft. Parks also provided a true picture of New York, particularly Harlem in the early 70s. His Harlem is authentic. He doesn't sugarcoat its bleakness or the crime, but he doesn't sell its character short either. It's portrayed as a real place populated by real people. And the cutting-edge music and flashy clothes of the era add to the unmistakable style of the film. The plot doesn't really matter, but the case kicking off the story has Shaft searching for the kidnapped daughter of a Harlem mob boss. Here it is from 1971, also with Moses Gunn and Charles Chiaffi, Shaft. Shaft is certainly the best-known example of the genre that came to be known as blaxploitation films. It essentially launched the phenomenon along with Melvin Van Peebles' Sweet Sweetback's Badass song. They were both released in 1971. Van Peebles' film was powered largely by word of mouth within various African-American communities, and it made better than $4 million at the box office. Studios realized there was an underserved audience in America and moved quickly to exploit the market by making quick, low-budget, black-centric stories. One of those studios needed a hit more than most, MGM, which was struggling at the time. MGM took a gamble with Shaft, and it paid off in a big way. Shaft became a major box office hit, helped save the studio from potential bankruptcy. The movie's success led to two sequels, Shaft's Big Score in 1972 and Shaft in Africa from 1973, as well as a short-lived television series, all of those starring Richard Roundtree as John Shaft. Director John Singleton brought the character back in 2000 with his big-screen version, starring Samuel L. Jackson as Shaft's nephew. He also cast Roundtree as Uncle John Shaft. Jackson and Roundtree returned for a 2019 sequel directed by Tim Story, also titled Shaft. Coming up, another 1970s New York story. Dennis Hopper stars as novelist Patricia Highsmith's deadly con man Tom Ripley in a 1977 thriller directed by Wim Wenders. The American Friend is next on Turner Classic Movies.
Next on TCM, The American Friend, then Song of My City, and later, Penguin Pool Murder. TCM is in too deep tonight.